Hi there, it's Wanda Wen. Welcome to the Sulip Fix. Today I am going to walk you through making a journal. I am a big journaler and I can't tell you enough how much I feel that journaling is so good for ourselves, really even as a form of therapy and mindful living. But with journaling, there's so much inherent in being able to sort of get your thoughts on paper. And whether it's for business or for personal growth, I think journaling is one of the best activities and practices that one can do and give for themselves. So on that note, how to make a journal? Well, you're gonna need paper for the inside, right? And I happen to have this handmade paper. Certainly even just regular 8.5 by 11 copy paper is great to use. So this is 8 and 11 by 1/2. It's a classic European business size correspondence sheet. And so basically I'm going to take this and I'm gonna fold them in half. You know what, I'm gonna use my glasses. Okay, all right, okay. So I'm just gonna fold this in half, and you would do that with just your regular 8.5 by 11 copy paper, okay? I'm gonna use what's called a bone folder. The reason why I use this instead of my fingers is that fingers have oil, and so I just wanna keep this paper clean. And also, it just allows for a really clean fold. Fold these 4 sheets of paper in half. Okay, so that's my 3rd sheet, and I'm gonna do my 4th sheet. Actually, I have 1 too many. I'm gonna use, okay. So folding this in half. All right, okay, so now I have 4 sheets. So then we need to basically drill or create holes so that we can then thread and bind our book. All right, so this is, here, I'm just going to, you know, I did have a Sharpie pen and I put it away because Ian told me to write notes on camera so I can read them, and I left my Sharpie pen. So I'm gonna just go run and get that. Okay, so this is 8 by 11.5. And now the reason why I'm writing this down is because it'll help me explain what dimension to make the cover. All right, so this is 8 inches wide. I'm going to, so divide that in 2. It's 4 inches. So I'm gonna make my first hole at the 4-inch mark. All right, so I'm just going to measure. I have a ruler. I'm gonna use a pencil and basically just make a mark at the 4-inch. Okay, then I'm going to make another mark at 1.5 inches away from the 4-inch. So, or let's see, 1.5 or 2 inches. Let's do 2 inches. All right. So I have, 2 inches away from the center dot, and then 2 inches on the other side. Okay. So if you could see here, these are my, basically where I'm going to create the holes so that we could bind the ribbon through. All right, so I'm going to do that for all of them. Okay, we're going to do, again, since this sheet of paper is 8 inches wide, I'm going to create a mark at the 4-inch mark. And then I'm going to create a mark 2 inches away from that center dot on either side. All right. Do that again. Again, this is 8 inches wide. this piece of paper. So I'm going to create a center dot at the 4-inch mark, and then 2 inches on one side and 2 inches on the other. Okay, just a little mark with the pencil. Okay. Just to give you a guide. All right. I love making journals. There's something about making something that you're going to use that is very satisfying and really gratifying. Okay, so now we're going to poke the holes. I use styrofoam. This happened to be, I got a piece of furniture shipped and there was styrofoam on it, and I brought it into the studio and to recycle it. And something that I'm really passionate about is trying to find ways to recycle, reuse things that we receive. And because so many of us are ordering things online, and things are packed in cardboard and styrofoam peanuts and newspaper. Not that I keep everything. I definitely, I will admit I don't keep everything, but I bundle it up. I put it in the recycle bin. But things like, if there's ways to find ways to just reuse something, please do. Our earth needs that so much. Okay, so I have guidelines because I made it with the pencil, so I'm going to use this hole. I don't even know what you call this. It's just a hole poker. I don't know. Okay, so here you go. So you can certainly just use a thick nail, right? A wide nail, or even, gosh, I'm sure there's some cooking, items in your kitchen, maybe a skewer stick. I know that skewer sticks, some of them are flat, they're flat in shape, but really anything that will create a hole. And the reason why the styrofoam on the back is that it allows for something on the back side for this pin to push through. Okay, so I've made the holes in all my sheets, and then I'm going to go back because I want to make sure that they all line up. I'm going to stack them and make sure that the holes are in the same place. Okay. And you could see, because this hole poker is so thin and my ribbon that I'm going to use is thicker, as I'm making this hole, I'm sort of circulating my hand to make the hole bigger. Okay, so now, these are my sheets. These will eventually be folded in half, and then they'll be bound. So I'm gonna put this aside, and then now it's time to make the cover. So I am choosing this beautiful terracotta. It's a handmade paper from Spain in a beautiful, I love this earthy orange. Love it so much. The sheets are 8 by 11.5. And so I like to have a little bit of margin between the cover and the sheet itself so that the cover is slightly larger than the inside sheet. So if the paper that I'm using for the guts of the book is 8 by 11.5, I just simply added a 1/2 inch to the horizontal and the vertical. Okay, so I'm gonna make this sheet, my cover sheet, 8.5 by 12. All right, so I'm gonna measure 12 inches, and I'm gonna measure 8.5 inches, 8.5 inches, okay. All right, then I'm just gonna use this is where a cutting mat, where did I put the cutting mat? I put it somewhere, it's underneath, okay. Okay. Right, just going to use my bone folder to make just a very subtle crease where I will fold the paper into, because ultimately I want this sheet of paper to have a sort of a hand torn edge. Okay. All right. Okay, so then I'm just going to use these creases and I'm going to fold on those. And, okay, I'm going to fold again. Actually, here, we'll do this. So if you sort of fold it back and forth a few times to break the fibers, that's going to allow this paper to tear easily. And this is another place that you can use this bone folder instead of my fingers to keep the oils from getting on the paper. So the reason why I'm not like folding all the way down is because I want to save a little bit of this paper and not, tear everything. There. So that I have a larger, so that I have this great excess piece to use for any other project. Okay. So again, I'm using this bone folder to crease my paper. We'll do it one more time. And then, because I've softened and broken the fibers just a little bit already, this hand tearing makes it super easy. And so then, although this is a beautiful natural edge of this handmade paper, you can see, I don't know if you can see, but you could see that I was able to get nice sort of torn edges on the other side. Okay, I'm just gonna move this aside. Perfect. So now we have to get the holes in the cover, all right? So easy way to do it is just to stack your inside pages that we already have the holes in, and then place it on top of your cover that you just made, making sure that you have an even amount of margin on all sides. And then just simply, instead of having to measure, just simply poke the holes using the inside paper measurements as a guide, all right? So then you're assured that this, your cover, it has the same measurement of the holes. And then I'm just going to use my straight edge and my bone folder, just keep them on, to create, let's see, on this side. Okay. We definitely want to fold it on the inside of the paper. And to me, the inside is where the holes are poking up, right? To me, that's the back side. Okay, so I'm going to use this to make my crease line. I'm just going to take that and actually fold it. Okay. Then I'm going to take my inside pages, and remember I started with 4 pieces of paper, right? So 4 pieces of paper folded in half, then make basically 8 sheets, and then these 8 sheets basically make
16 pages.
Okay, so this is a
16
page book. All right, so now I'm going to take embroidery thread. Okay, and this is a place that you could really have fun. I mean, you can use like suede string, you can use leather string, which I've done quite a bit. You can use ribbon. You can use yarn. So many things that you could bind your book with. Just make sure that you poke holes that are big enough to accommodate whatever you're using, okay? So I'm going to take this and I'm going to place my needle in through the center, okay? I'm just gonna leave enough so that I can use to tie it at the end, okay? So we're going to place it here, okay? So we're going to the top, to the hole that is basically 2 inches away, all right? And then we're gonna come in here in the center. I'm gonna move this center string aside so that I place my needle on the other side of that string. It comes out. And you wanna make sure that you have a handle of this guy, this little end, that it doesn't like come through into, as you're pulling through this string. And then you're gonna come onto the left side of the hole and thread it here, okay? Okay, there you go. And I'm gonna do this 2 times because I just want a thicker amount of thread. So I'm just basically retracing my steps. Okay, going back to the center, coming to the left side of the center hole, and now I'm on the inside. So now I'm going to basically unthread this, and I'm going to tie a knot. I'm gonna move this knot into the center. Okay, and then just snip the ends. And here's your book. You can stitch this the opposite way, meaning if you like this detail of this string and you want it to be on the outside, you do the same thing, the same process that we did. Just start, instead of starting threading your needle from the inside, just thread it from the outside, and then you can have the string, and you can leave long tendrils, which are nice, okay? So now I have this little pamphlet journal. You can put 10 sheets of paper in here, okay? So there's nothing to say that you can't make this a little bit larger, all right? So now, you know me, I like to enhance and decorate my things that I make, and so I'm just gonna take just a random piece of scrap, and I'm going to basically make a little frame. So this is why I always keep scraps of paper, because you know, you just never know when things will come up, and you can use this. I'm just gonna hand tear this against my straight edge, right? And I realize that I just need some glue stick. Hold on one second. Oh gosh. Okay, I'm back. All right. Okay, so I'm just gonna have some glue stick. I'm gonna glue the back of this, and just making sure that I get to all edges of this piece of paper. I'm just going to center this on the cover, just eyeballing it, all right? I'm basically getting all the air bubbles out so that this is mounted. And then I'm just gonna take a little bit of water, a little bit of glue, and I'm making a just a watered down mixture, because I pressed these sweet little blossoms the other day. I was taking a hike and I found these blossoms, and I pressed them into just something that I could use to enhance journal pages. So I'm just gonna use this watered down glue. Whoops. And just lightly painting on this watered down glue. It doesn't need much because these pieces, these flowers are very, very delicate. All right. I'm just going to use one. All right. Now, I mean, you could enhance your journal with so many things. You don't even need to do anything. Or you can do what I'm doing right here. There you go. So this is my little journalette. This is an easy way to bookbind. It's a very simple bookbinding technique. And in one of my next episodes, I am going to lead you through just different journal prompts. So again, I'm a big believer in journaling, you know, for self-inquiry. It's wonderful for gaining clarity, working through issues, sort of settling the whirlings of the mind. I believe very much in the therapeutic qualities of journaling, whether it's working out issues or recording your visions and dreams and putting them down on paper, to one day making them a reality. And probably one of the most important things to journal is to journal with what you're grateful for, right? These can be great gratitude journals. And when we're grateful, all of a sudden, you see life through a different window. So on that note, thank you for coming, and I'll see you next time. Bye.